What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, with the Dow down almost 500 points, I'm going to make the case as to why the stock market topped yesterday. And no, I'm not fooling. And is it really true that our Discord made $450,000 yesterday alone? All that and more coming at you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, the virtual meeting channel is going to open up for the 200 people or thereabouts that have a small business, aka a premium membership. You're going to want to get inside of the Discord, tell everybody who you are, what you do. Myself and everyone involved will do what we can to help you live your best life, whether it's we buy it or we refer someone who can. So if you're interested, you have a small business, you support those who do, or you just want to make an obscene amount of money. I don't know, close to $500,000 a day type stuff as a whole, as a team, as a fam, then go to shopsmallbiz.com right now. Discord, if you don't have a small business. Premium, if you do, again, that's shopsmallbiz.com when we are growing at 100% year over year. So before I talk about CRKN and a phone call that I had yesterday, and LIFW that we sold yesterday on fake news, and some very important information on what you need to know as to why I think this market just peaked in the last 24 hours. I must say, and I just had an email back and forth with a gentleman who seems to mean well, but he's a cheap-ass motherfucker. Him and two or three other guys are hitting me up in the last 48 hours. Oh, I missed the deadline. You said it was going to be $50 a month. Listen, if you can't afford $75 a month or save 25% if you pay by the year, whether it's a Discord or a premium, so it's literally about $2 a day, then this is not for you. I'm done working for free. I did that for 2 years. I helped raise billions of dollars of idle grant and loan money from the SBA. Nobody paid me nothing. I gave away $31,000 on YouTube. And then I undercharged deliberately for 2 years. And then I said about 3 weeks ago, that's enough. I need to pay my bills. I need to have a retirement too. I need to make a small amount of money, not an obscene amount, so that I can afford to live the life that I've imagined, because I'm putting in 12 hours a day. I've got a 95% win rate in the last 18 months. That's top 1/2 or 1 motherfucking percent. But if you can't handle my personality, or you're so fucking cheap that you're going to argue literally over pennies a day, then this is not for you. And what's ironic, before again I talk about CRKN, LIFW, and why I think it's a very dangerous market right now, as we're down 500 and going lower in the Dow. What's ironic is yesterday we made almost $500,000. We got in for the second time, LIFW. My average was 75. Some of you were a little higher. I sold mine just over $1. I think it was $1.50 average. It shot to 140 and change. Many of you got out $1.25, $1.30. We made 30, 40, 50%. And yet, 2 hours before it fucking happened, nothing going on here. Ain't nothing moving. Everything's just... I almost drove off the road. I was 5 miles away heading to the grocery store, and I see it dancing at 95, and I said, holy shit. I had to pull over on the side of the road, and I made a decision to sell half because it was humming. The FOMO was kicking in on fake news. And then I got out of the rest only to see it go higher. But in a perfect world, that's what I want. I want to put out the alert that I'm getting out. And for the next hour or two, max, ideally, it goes a little higher so that everyone can get the alerts. Everyone can get out from under their desk. Everyone can get their way to their brokerage app, no matter what they're doing, no matter where they are, and ring the register again, because we've done that 250 times in the last 2 years, over 100 times inside of the Discord since we opened our doors in September. We estimate that we've made at least $10 million of capital gains, and you've paid me a tiny fraction, in fact, slightly less than 1% of that. And we've got dozens of people leaving for what? For what? Because you can't handle some tough love? You can't handle someone that's maniacal about getting in and out of the market properly? Or that wants you to address your fellow teammates with respect? tough motherfucking shit. I was the same way when I was a quarterback in high school and went on to college as an outside linebacker / free safety, and as a small business owner, and as a brother, and as a fucking uncle. If I think you're doing something wrong, I'm going to call you out on it. And it's not like I don't have a track record. Some of you think I'm joking when I say 95%. It won't last, but it's true. Other than MCOM and Mullen and GMBL, give me some losses that we've taken. Put them in the fucking comments. Maybe you can come up with one in the last 6 months. Maybe 5 in the last year. I've got over 100 I can give you right fucking now, including LIFW. Made $500,000 or close to it in one fucking trade. The whale that we pointed out inside of the Discord made $26,900. That's 42 years of Discord annual rates. 42 motherfucking years in one trade. But it's clearly not for everybody. If you weren't having fun this morning, one of the most active days ever, when we opened a half a position in a biotech that was down 53%, and I added small once, twice, 3, 4 times, and then we were down 4%, and then we were fucking up 4%. Last trade, 121.5. I own it at 124, and again, it's down, 51% on the day? It's been de-risked on an offering that was way below the market, and we get one of the best biotech stocks near $1.25 anywhere on the entire fucking market. And look at the rest of the stocks we own. Food stock, even. CRKN's the only stock that we're down. We're going to talk about that next. Biotech, E-stock, even. R-stock, biotech, even up to 5%. Snap, up 4%. Bought some more, 1074 this morning. Average 1071. Where are we losing money? Where are we getting killed? One fucking stock we're down on paper, and that may not last. And with that said, let's talk about CRKN. Actually, before I do, let's go out with a bang with the CRKN. I had a phone call with somebody you might know, and no, it's not investor relations. We've had an overbought market for more than a month and a half. You have what's called quadruple negative divergence. The RSI, the stochastics, and the MACD, the latter of two I pay the most attention to. On the weekly, whether it's the S&P or the Qs, has had 4 successive lower tops, and today we got our first gap down since the low in October. So I'm telling you right now, I'm putting my head in the guillotine, and I'm going to tell you the stock market just peaked. We are not going to new all-time highs anytime soon. In fact, for the next, let's keep it simple, stupid, 30 to 60 days minimum, it's sideways to down 3 to 5%. And if we don't hold on to that 50-day moving average, which is down another 3 or 4% in most cases, then we've got a bigger problem than I think we have. And we are in the midst of an election. Nothing's going to surprise me. Grid's down, nuke goes off. Another scamdemic, nothing is going to surprise me. But as I just said, we are doing fine except for one stock. And if you've got 80% of your money in index funds or ETFs connected to SPY, QQQ, and IWM, you don't have to worry about the market going down. In fact, as an investor, you want it to fucking go down. So you can buy more shares, buy more ETF, buy more index fund on a dollar cost average basis, the lower we go. And if we go down more than 20%, and I do not see that in a raging secular bull market, you double and triple down. And when combined to what we're doing in the core holdings and in the Ask Jason channel, where we own Sophie at $690 and change and Tesla at $162, you can absolutely crush it. You can have a chance to make triple-digit gains on your money. I'm not talking about every 10 fucking years like the stock market. I'm talking about, in some cases, every 6 to 12 months. It's happening. It's happened. For the life of me, I can't figure out why more people don't get it. Thank God there's a few hundred of you that do. And I hope you stick with us because we're going to make a fucking fortune over the next 10 years and probably beyond. And if shit does hit the fan, you're going to want me in your corner. I made all the mistakes in the last 30 years, half it as a broker, so you don't have to. 75 or 85 a month is a fucking steal. And if you pay by the year at shopsmallbiz.com, you save 25%. All right. I had a conversation. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's running the company. He's probably one of the most hated CEOs on the planet. And in some cases, rightfully so. Overpromised, underdelivered. Had contracts that didn't come through. Financing fell apart. The smart window technology got delayed 9 months to a year. He's being sued by at least 2 institutions. And I told him yesterday, if you don't get this fucking stock up off a nickel, one way or another, you're going to have a lot of class action lawsuits, not brought by myself, but by others that have lost 80, 90%, if not more, of their fucking money. But inside of the Discord, and I'm telling you now, a freeloader, I keep thinking of that guy who's trying to haggle with me over $25. We've made $10 million plus. We've got a 95% win rate, and you're sitting there counting fucking nickels. Give me a break. We need a higher caliber of people. I don't give a shit if it offends him. He was coming at me the wrong way. You know, kind of like somebody else is no longer with us. It's got a yellow caution, which means careful. Don't go over 10% or thereabouts per idea. I have a huge position in CRKN, more than 15%, but I can handle it. And LIFW was my second largest position. I just made a boatload of money, and yeah, I coulda, shoulda made twice as much. But I'm going to be just fucking fine, and so are most of you that are paying attention. But we're all getting killed on paper, even though I got my average down into the 8s. Last trade 0541. But what did we learn yesterday or the day before? They just had revenue that was up 10x from the year before. Basically nothing to about $1 million. They pre-announced they're going to do at least $8 million in the second quarter and break even from a loss last year of 26 to 29 million. So by the summer of this year, you're going to go from losing almost $30 million a year to breaking even with 20% or thereabouts margins on the dredging business. Laying cable? Are you shitting me? What if you do the same number for the third and fourth quarter? You come in at, let's say, $25 or $30 million for the year. You're making 20% margins on it. Let's say you net 3 or 4 million over the course of the entire year in terms of EBITDA. Again, breaking even or losing only $500,000 on $8 million in revenue in the second quarter. They already pre-announced it. And I stressed under promise, over deliver, not the other fucking way around. They get it. Well, there's no way in hell, in my opinion, that the stock's going to stay at a nickel and change. In fact, if you were listening, and all of this is public information, if you were listening to the conference call when the CFO basically said they're going in front of NASDAQ in May, they're going to ask for an additional 6 months of extension. And I said yesterday, you know, so-and-so, they don't often grant that when you're way under a dime because, excuse me, that's a potential third violation. Now, because of all the dilution, they have a big enough market cap, so they're not in violation in that respect. But they're under $1 for well over a month, and they're under a dime for over a month. Strike 1 and 2. But this person assured me they've had multiple conversations with NASDAQ. They've shared their pipeline, their margins, etc., and what they see they're going to be able to do and have already done in the last 6 months. And in their opinion, not mine, in their opinion, they're going to get the extension. And the CFO said in so many words, I'll paraphrase, that's going to get us a lot closer to compliance. Well, compliance is a fucking dollar. Now, do I think, based on my experience, you know, the guy who made almost $500,000 for his team yesterday, do I think it's going to $1 from a nickel? No, I do not. Do I think it's going to 50 cents on its own without a reverse split? No, I do not. But do I think it's a strong possibility it ramps from a nickel and change to a quarter? Yes, I do. You tell me. Whether you're averaging down within the risk parameters of 10% or thereabouts per idea, or you're new money that realizes I know what the fuck I'm doing, and you go to shopsmallbiz.com and you get your cheap motherfucking ass in there and you start buying the stock at 05.5, lower than anyone has ever bought it before. And you've seen how reverse splits, Holo, reversed at 1.5, went to 80, back to 3. Even that piece of shit Mullen reversed, went to 695 to 18. We're in a season right now, for whatever reason, where reverse splits are cranking within 30 to 60 days, if not sooner, from the split. So even if they got to do a split, and that's not going to happen for many months, they still have another 6 months that they are most likely going to get in terms of an extension, which takes us all the way to Thanksgiving. But if we can get this thing off its back and cranking 15, 20 to a quarter, what is that? 4X, 5X in some cases? Digging your ass out of the ditch or helping new money make a fucking fortune? It's not a guarantee. Nothing ever is. But this company was knocking on heaven's door, CRKN, about 6 to 9 months ago. Now we're going to start to get revenue on the smart insert window business in June and July, and it's going to ramp slowly. But now that they brought in a guy named Boaz, who's president of the construction unit, their pipeline is expanding rapidly. And because they're outsourcing the contractors, they have a set margin in mind. I'm using the number 20% based on what I heard, that it's plug and play. And if they will stop diluting in closing, and I cannot tell you how clearly I stated this. You need to stop diluting the fucking stock. And as we also learned in the conference call, they're a week to 2 away from announcing a credit line with a whole new institution, which is non-dilutive. So instead of having to use the ELOC, the equipment line of credit, which would allow them to issue up to 200 million shares, and they've already done approximately 60 million of it, most of it in the last quarter. Part of the reason why it's down, along with naked selling, if they can get away from that, and they're telling me they want to, and I got one more point to make, hopefully I don't forget, and we can use the line of credit to bridge the gap between the 30 and 45-day terms on these new contracts, then we can stop adding shares to the float, which is going to make it a hell of a lot easier to go through a dime and up to potentially a quarter, and who the fuck knows, and beyond. And the last point I want to make in closing, again, senior moment, and no, I don't edit, and I'm not doing this video again. So bear with me while I try and remember what I was going to say. Oh. Another point that I've stressed, you got to put skin in the game. Until the market sees you step up, not granting your fucking stock like you did at the end of the quarter. It ran to 8.5 after hours last Thursday because people saw 1.1 million. They thought it was a net buy. No. Same thing with LIFW. They gave Palantir fucking stock because they can't pay their bills. You talk about a sucker's move, a dumb retail trap. You should have sold it all at 1 and change in the pre-market or yesterday like we did. But until we see for real the CEO, Boaz Sheldon, who's going to run the smart window insert business, come in with size, the public's not going to believe it. They don't fucking believe them now. They're this close to bringing up multiple class action lawsuits. The answer I got, or should I say the answer I heard, is we want to buy and we will, but they need to file their Q. Yesterday was just the earnings. The 10Q's got to get filed. They're telling me that's going to be the early to middle part of May. Once that's filed, you got a 2 or 3 day window after that where it opens. So I told them, if you're not buying stock by the 3rd week of May, I'm roasting you in the phone lines. And by the way, I'm going to expand it to Boaz and Sheldon. I'll call all 3 of those motherfuckers nonstop until they do what's right in your best interest. And until next time, always remember that I love you, and I really appreciate those who stuck around for watching.